2 years ago, I sat down with my mom shortly after she became a widow for the second time, and I sat down to talk to her about the passing of my dad, the passing of my pops, her life as a widow, grief, and living out loud. It was, at the time, I didn't have a YouTube video or anything. It was just footage for me in a process of just getting and having conversations with really my heroes and the people that I love. And so she was the first of that for me to sit down, and I feel that this is a good time to release that. And I wrote a blog about it, so if you've seen that, if you read that, that's great. You can go and read that. But this is the actual video. This is her in her words, and you get to see her, and we're seeing her live out loud. And 2 years post this interview, to see where she is and how she's come, she's showing me exactly who I knew her to be, and I enjoy, it gives me great joy to see her live this way. And it's how I really try to model myself to, even through it all, to just keep living. So this is that interview, this is that conversation. Hope you enjoy it. I gotta be so first. Okay. All right. Thank you for joining us today. This is special. I want to thank my mom, who's here with us today. As you guys, hopefully, if you're reading the blog, you know that the intention of the blog is to have hope, heal, enjoy life, live it out loud. And with a day like Widowers Day coming up, International Widowers Day coming up, I asked my mom if it would be okay for us to sit down and her to tell her story, as she uniquely has become a widow twice now. Once in your 30s and once not even a year ago. So thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.
We'll start off. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey since losing Daddy? We'll refer to her first husband. I refer to him a lot as Daddy. That's my biological dad. And Pops, or Jeriel, which is your second husband, of course, and,
yes.
and my Pops. So how has this journey been for you?
Very different, I must say. Nothing expected.
Yeah.
It started at the age of 32, I believe, when I lost my first husband.
That was in 94.
Was I 32?
Daddy?
In 1994.
1994.
And at that time, it was unbelievable rough. But the journey of losing him, you have to go back a little, of the struggle that we dealt with as young parents, trying to start life and just achieve some American dream. Mm-hmm. And we were headed in that direction. Mm-hmm. We were very accomplished. We had purchased our first home, 2 children at the time, Adrian, and then later, 5 years later, my son, Arthur Rashad, and they are 5 years apart. Mm-hmm. And our struggles started to occur right after Rashad was born. Mm-hmm. And that's when we first started to deal with a lot of ups and downs, but regular things that people deal with, especially young couples trying to juggle life, yeah, and children and the whole nine. And so initially, I mean, we were considered one of the couples to be. Mm-hmm. And he was always full of joy and fun. That was him. He was always the fun. I don't ever want to stop having fun, whatever it takes. So even when the seriousness came, he was still about fun. And so fast forward, he did start to struggle. And at the time, I wasn't aware of what was going on in his life, but I just know things were starting to change, mm-hmm, and not for the good. Yeah. And but we went on trying to survive it. But a few years into Arthur's birth is when we really start to notice a difference.
Yeah.
I did.
Were you the first one to notice that difference?
Yes, and I would say yes to the point because again, that was my best friend.
Correct.
And we grew up. We were, we met in high school by chance, and became friends and the whole nine. So yes, I knew him enough to know that some things were changing.
Okay.
But then I would approach him about it, and he denied it. He denied it until he couldn't deny it anymore. So, but after I did find out, and he did come open up and come clean about what he was dealing with, we decided, okay, hey, it's not the end of the world. If you feel you are at the point to where you need help, you need help far beyond my help, but I will be there. But let's get some professional help. And so he did. And he went through rehab, and then things started to move smooth again.
Okay.
And we, journeying on with life, still just trying to juggle life, children, and every day, and that whole thing, So, again, we would start to struggle financially, which is usually a lot of signs of things differently to come. And so, again, I started noticing no paycheck. No help with the finance. What's going on? You're going to work every day. So what's going on? At least I thought you were.
Right.
So again, struggling again. So a few years later, rehab again. So we went back and forth with him and his drug addiction for about 8 years.
Okay.
Until finally he couldn't handle it, and he surrendered to the addiction, as opposed to, he just said he did not want to live life anymore that way.
Yeah.
And so he did. In March the 10th of 1994, he committed suicide. And that was devastating.
He died by suicide.
Because he died by suicide, and actually we were at that time estranged anyway because of a lot of things that we were dealing with. A lot that I just didn't share with the children or anyone prior to that, because some of the stuff was, you just don't want to live it again when you live through just basically fighting for your life, and all of those things that became a part of our everyday life. So my life was very abnormal, but I was still trying, in the eyes of everybody, have a normal life.
You mentioned not sharing those things with us as children. I definitely get that. How did you cope with, you say you didn't share it with anybody. How did you cope? Just working?
I worked. I focused on you guys, because I know at that time, at the end of the day, there's no excuse. You all are here, and we have to provide. That's just what parents do. That's what we do. So that just kicked into a higher gear for me.
Okay.
And that's what I did. I worked. I figured out a way to work, juggle life. But I would talk to God. I mean, that's why that has helped me to where I am right now.
Your dress said, God designed me, God created me, God blessed me.
That's right. And I believe that to my heart. And I know it. I don't, I know it beyond a shadow of doubt. And I found that out. And much of who I am started even before he passed. Because I just know you make things happen. That's what you do in life. Because life is first of all, I take life as a game of a deck of cards.
Okay.
Sometimes you are dealt a trump hand, spades, and you spade out from the beginning, but not always.
Yeah.
You get a hand any given day or any given game, you can have a different hand.
Yeah.
But in order for you to come out victorious, you got to play the hand that you have,
at that
the
time.
best that you can. And that's how I started to deal with life. And you feel sorry for yourself, and you go through the anger, you go through the frustration, you go through the hurt, you go through all of those things, and you go through the why me and the self-pity. But I found out real early, everybody asks you how you doing or what I can do for you, but at the end of the day, they don't know. And they really, it's just really traditionally what we say. But I found myself a plenty of day of not knowing how or when or what would be the next step for me. But I knew if I get through this day, then I'm doing okay, because yesterday is behind me and tomorrow is not promised. So you take that day, and that day became my deck of cards at that time, and how do you handle it? And then before you know it, you find yourself, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I first learned that in the sobriety classes with him. Mm-hmm. So I felt at the time when we first went to rehab, I was in there as well, because I find out you just as victimized as the person that has the addiction. Mm-hmm. So you find you right in the middle of that world, if that's a part of you. And at that time, that was my other half.
Right.
Y'all
are one. Y'all are married.
We weren't married.
Going through.
I'm going through. So I'm right there with him. From the fighting for the paycheck that I know he just received. I need that money. We got rent coming up. We got a car note. We got things that we got the children. We got food needed. So I need the check. Come on now. I know you. So this is what I went through a lot. So during those classes, I listened and I tried to understand, and it gave me a better perspective of the disease that he was dealing with. Yeah. And that's what it is. It's an illness. And I was able to understand that more, instead of being so upset with him. And like, you can stop. I don't know why you doing these things. You're destroying the family, and I know how much you love your children, and I know how much you love me. I don't have a doubt. So what's the problem? But it's a little more than love. Love is just one of the ingredients, but there's a whole lot more that comes with someone that has that type of illness, or any kind that has become
consumes them.
Yes, it consumes them. So after being angry, I just tried to talk to him when I could, but try to be there and be supportive as I knew how. And so the last time he went to rehab and he came out, and it was it came out worse than he'd been the first couple of times. So I was like, oh Lord, help me. Mm-hmm. So my prayer was to help me to deal with whatever the outcome is in our life.
Had you ever thought of, or let your mind go to that point of what ended up happening before it happened?
No, I never did in a million years. Okay. Would have thought that would have been
an
outcome.
Okay.
No, so when I did receive the call, although we had that estranged life, because by this time I guess he knew, or whatever, I can't really imagine and say, but his actions showed me that he's different than even the first couple of times that he went when he came out this time.
He's less hopeful?
Yes, so much less hopeful. Mm-hmm. So it was like, it was scary. Okay. Because it was like, okay, you can't really even talk to him, because it's just like he's got stone face. Mm-hmm. Every time I saw him, he was totally stone face. Mm-hmm. And it was never a conversation that made any sense. Okay. And so it was a difference. It was, I don't have any hope. I can't do this no more. I don't want to do it anymore. So it was like, I'm there, I'm that cheerleader, and I'm trying to push on. I'm still here. We're just not in the same home together, but I'm still here, cheerleader. but but I know that you're dealing with what you're dealing with, and I'm frightened, and I just don't want the children, your presence,
To
frighten them, and for them to see you as you are. So he called me one time and told me he dedicated me a song, and I'll never forget it. I always in forever. It was about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, phone ringing. So I'm fussing. I got to get up in the morning. What do you want? I'm answering this phone. What do you want? What's going on? I don't like receiving phone calls this late or early in the morning. He said, I want you to turn on the radio. And I said, turn on the radio? I'm asleep. What? Turn on the radio for what? He said, I just want you to turn on the radio. And I did. And that's what it was. So that song, still to this day, even though I done met the second husband, married, and so much love him as well, but that song still resonates a lot in my life.
Was that the night he died?
Yes. The next time I got a phone call, and the next time I heard he had committed suicide.
And how far apart was that dedication and his death? 2
weeks. So I never heard anything, and he said, I love you guys so much, and I'm afraid for you all's lives, so I am not gonna come back around. He said, I won't see you no more. So that's when I said, no. What you mean you won't see us anymore? I said, no, you don't call me that time in the morning, just tell me you dedicated me a song, but you won't see me no more.
Right, what is that?
What is that all about? He just say, just turn on the radio. So that made me go ahead and
get up.
Turn on the radio.
Turn
yes.
You up for it, I'm sure. Right.
And I did, and it was for always and forever. And I heard nothing else.
Until that time.
Yes.
Until you got that phone call.
Right.
So after you got the phone call, let me just say, now that I'm a mother and know a little bit of how to wear emotions and hard times without trying to put that on the children, that, I don't know if I should be if it's, it is congratulatory. I'm not one to, that strong black woman thing kind of, I don't really like that. But I will say that I, speaking for myself, that the only way I know how to say it, you did I told you this before, you did a great job at, I guess, shielding us from that. Which, I guess that's now, like I said, that I'm a mother, I know that's technically what we may supposed to do or try our best to do, but as you and I know, that doesn't always happen.
Right.
And we knew, or I knew, Rashad was so much younger, but I knew about Daddy's drug problem, but I never felt any of the, I'm sure, the fear that you felt going through it.
Right.
But
because I think he was great at hiding, and he was great at manipulating his habit, and so he would be able to go around and function, because he would sit in the class in things like, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm 4 days. I'm 5 days. But he wasn't. No.
He wasn't. No. So, okay, so after, I remember, I guess enough of the funeral. And I remember the car ride there and, to the church and all that. So what was life for you like, I guess, in the weeks, the months, and most times they say it's the second year of a loved one passing that really hits the hardest, because the first year is you kind of still on autopilot trying to figure it out, and then that second year you kind of settle in it, and that's when it hits you. So what was that like afterwards? Here you are now, 34? Were you 30? I think you were 34. In 94?
94. I was born in 1960.
30. You were 33.
33.
Because on March 10th, and your birthday is the 30th.
Right.
So you were getting ready to turn 34.
Right.
So now here you are, we'll round it, a 34-year-old widow with 2 children. I was 12.
You were 12. Right.
And Rashad was 7.
Mm-hmm.
So what was that like?
And that was very hard because, again, now I'm trying to stay in you guys' head, per se, in a sense of trying to see how you guys. So I didn't have a lot of time to grieve, per se, myself. I did actually, I would say he came to me for a good year plus. And I mean almost every night. So sometimes I even look forward to the sleep because I knew that was our time together. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to sleep because I know I'm going to talk to him. Because we ended it. It's like a chapter in a book, and you just stop in mid of the book. You can't close it.
Yeah.
So you can never finish that book.
Why didn't have
So
keep going.
I would spend nights, and a lot of nights for over a year. I know I would say every night he would come to me and we would talk. And like I say, whether it was some good or why, a lot of times I was always, just saying you were my best friend. Why? Because we had so much fun together. Yeah. And he was such at that time, we learned one another. We learned one another as teens and friends. Yeah. And so we had so much in common that we just enjoying life, skiing. We would be the only 2 African Americans. And of course, I'm not even skiing or swimming. I'm just rooting him and making sure that they ain't pulling him too hard on that boat. So I'm navigating the driver of the boat. Like,
hey, you need to go straight.
Right. Then you need to slow down. He back there. And I'm going to watch him the whole time and watch you as well. So I kept one eye on the driver and one eye on him.
Yeah.
But so all of those things, so every night for I know a year, one way or the other, he would come to me and we would talk. And that's what helped me to actually close the book as much as I could.
That was your grieving.
That was my grieving, and that helped me. So I took from that chapter that he passed, and I pretty much wrote it to the best that I could to close that book.
How you needed
in that chapter in my life, but still juggling you guys, which stayed in the book as well, letting him know how you all were doing. And letting him know, still the sadness, but I'm trying to keep as much joy in their life, and peace more than anything, because joy and all of these things are our feelings, and they can change at any time and any day. But when you show that love and that security, that helps heal for the most, a lot. You have to show them that you're secure, that they are secure, and I'm here, and that I love you, and we're going to make it through. Right. So that's where I spent the next of my years. And so a lot of that, again, I would just I would just pick up or change as I go, and I would do a lot of that while I was sleeping. And the thing about it is, those dreams were dreams that I would wake up like he was there. So it's not like I dreamed last night, but I don't remember. I would remember those dreams. And that got me through. Because it was like, he's there, he's here, but he's not here.
Yeah, okay.
So that helped me to...
There was, just to clarify, there wasn't that delusional thing that he's still here. It was just a way for you to keep his memory, his presence,
and let
stay
him,
comforted by him
yes,
in a way,
and keep that in the family that I know he loves so much. To let him know that because first while I was angry, straight up angry. Why would you feel that this was your way out? So you just decided to leave me with them by myself. So now I got to figure this out alone.
I get that.
So that was a part of the reason of how I think we first started to connect in those dreams, because that's where I need answers. So I told him, I need answers from you.
Did you get them?
And I did.
You did.
And that's
through your process.
Through my process. So that's how I was able to remember those dreams. And it wasn't a delusion like I would wake up the next day and say, oh, where is he at?
Yeah.
No,
okay.
no, not at all.
Okay. And so through, like you said, it was a year of dreaming. You started at anger. Did you go through the grieving process? The steps of grieving through that year of you were able to move from anger to acceptance and all these things.
And all of those things. And I know I was able to reference a lot of the illness by going through the steps with him and being right there. So again, it was like, I came through, why couldn't you?
Do you think, going back to you having to attend the step process, do you think that helped to prepare you for the steps you would need in that year to get over?
It did.
Not get over, but to cope with.
To cope with
Yes.
and deal with it. And yes, it did tremendously.
Yeah.
Because it was again listening and not just blaming him for deciding he just wanted to end his life.
That is more
to
complex
understand
than
it's
that.
more complex.
Correct.
So and anyone, I feel, now that's just my opinion, that decide that it's so hard that I can't overcome it and I decide to end it. It's an illness, just like diabetes, just like cardiovascular disease. It's an illness. It's a disease.
Yeah.
And so, and just like some of those, when you're diabetic, a lot of times it's so hard for you to change your eating habits. Even any type of illness that you're warned pretty much that you need to change your eating habits, you need to do this. And that's not easier said than done. So what made this any different?
Right.
So all of those things helped me to understand, but it did not take away those grieving, that anger, that pain, all of those, that sense of loneliness, and all of those things that you go through. It didn't take that away.
Yeah.
But it did help me as a person, because again, I would always go back and ask God to grant me the serenity. And to this day, I knew it was some reason that's always resonated in my life. I even got the picture going up the stairs,
right. With that message.
That started all over again.
So after the year and you basically picking your new life,
yes,
as you know it, up and moving forward, we know. Well, I know. I was front row seat, but so you in that process you got life back, shall we say?
Life.
You found life and that joy maybe again back, and we'll get to who, in finding that. And once Dad died, once he died of suicide, of course, now that it's not necessarily the feeling of loneliness goes away, because people can be amongst people and still feel lonely.
Right.
But now people know. Right. So what were the conversations and the approaches and the concern, the love, the support, the shame, the blame, maybe, I don't know what that was like following, once people knew kind of what was going on, once the cat was out the bag, once people knew. What was that there?
Yes, what was there, it wasn't a lot of shame per se. It was, I did everything to not allow myself to get too down because I knew you all needed me. So you all were at that time, my backbone.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, anytime I would get sad, down, I look at y'all. Then it was like, okay, look what God, right? Look what God created in this marriage.
Yeah,
it's a blessing. So I mean, and I can't say why me at this point. Why me? God just give me the serenity to accept it.
Yeah.
And you have now. Move on. Yes, you get sad and you get lonely and you get lonesome, but you guys were very active at the time.
Yeah.
And you have the support system, but I mean, really, again, I always say, no one really knows how you feel or really what to say or something. You until you in those shoes, and even then you don't know because it's different. It's different
for each person.
So you'll get the phone calls of, hey, I'm here, family, I'm here, because at that time we had a very strong family because we were always family oriented. Back in the day how we were with siblings and cousins every weekend. So those things just continued on a greater scale. Matter of fact, at one time, Dee and Phyllis lived with us. So it was always that support, great. And Mother was always there to support.
Right.
Yeah. Always there. But Mother became, I could say she was a live-in nanny.
Yeah.
Because she would cook. She would allow me to now work, do what I need to do. But I had a little social, I was able to at least hang out with friends. And at that time it was Donna was
which you needed.
Which is what I needed.
Correct, yeah.
And so we were able to just get out and enjoy life, but it didn't take away, a lot of times once I came through that door, put the key in there, the lonesomeness kicked back in.
Did you feel guilty for having fun after that?
At first I didn't, but I did feel guilty for the fact that he's not here. The fun that I used to share was always with him since high school, before we even knew where our life would be.
Yeah.
At this time, because I thought he was kind of geeky anyway when how he first got my phone number. He memorized it. At the time, they would ask you to verify your information, and I gave him, and I verified my phone number,
and he remembered it.
And all of a sudden, I'm like, I didn't give you my phone number. So just thinking back of all those things and how we were just always happy. We decided in life that we wanted to have things, but we discussed how we would do it. So it was like we had this life going on to where, okay, we gonna be all right. Although we are young with you, but we gonna be all right because we do discuss and
we doing it together.
We doing it together. And so after that, I did start to feel a little guilty because I'm like, okay, I'm feeling like life again. You never forget because again, I had the tears just from the moment, and I still do. I said, I don't know, sometimes if I get sad and I'm crying from him or I'm crying from the second one. Yes. So it goes from here to there. It's like, Mona, you're a little special here because you don't know which one you crying about right now.
I think all of it, it's a loss, and like they say, a piece of you dies with your loved one, and the hope is that a piece you gain a piece of them that lives with you.
Right.
But I definitely get the guilt and how how were you able to find coping positive coping? Like that loneliness. Like how did you not succumb to that loneliness? Well, and not dive into your own drugs, alcohol, sex, right? You know, that overly thing. How were you able to keep? Was it us? Was it some already in you? A combination?
I think it was a combination because I've always been that leader type. Everybody that knows me will say, Mona, I knew this would be you.
Yeah.
So you know how God has his chosen ones. And I feel that I was always God's chosen one. And I was always busy here doing this in somebody else's business, as the family want to say now. And so again, I dive into being in somebody else's business. Okay. I find they got a problem, and so Mona, you got to let your little selfish alone, and they'll help them deal with their situation, because theirs is still acting right now. God has granted you the serenity because you have accepted the fact that now part of you is gone and won't be back, but he's always a part of you. Correct. He's just not a part of me in the real or in the physical. Yes, but so it was like, and you know, again, in you watching you guys for the most and just trying to be there and just try to keep you guys, you know, balanced in life, on a path. Yes, and now because I know you all initially didn't know how your dad died,
right? So
I knew you all would find out. And again, I'm preparing myself to be able to talk to you guys if you come to me without just trying to sugarcoat it or say, you know, this or that, because we all have this, I think, misconception about suicide.
I totally agree. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Everybody that commits suicide is automatically going to hell.
Right, it's just this taboo.
In this taboo
way of,
And so back then, in 1994, for sure it was that way. A black male commit suicide. That's just something we didn't.
We're not gonna talk about that.
No, we're not gonna talk about that. No, that ain't true.
Right.
Yes, it says it on the death certificate hanging. So I have to accept that.
Yeah.
But now I'm more, again, focused, and I'm more determined to help you guys to understand. So you all gonna hear this. I'm grown and understanding a little more. You all are easily persuaded by your peers more than by your parent. So I'm trying to give you all the peace of mind that Daddy still, he was sick and he's in a place, as we say, a better place is all we can say, that at least if we believe and we have those faith, then he's no longer struggling here, because it was a struggle for him those last at least 3 years. And I'm gonna say really more than that, because Rashad was three months.
Oh, when you found out.
When I still didn't know.
Okay.
I just know he disappeared for 2 days.
Okay.
And I was breastfeeding and all, but I was just exhausted.
Yeah.
Because I would come home from work, I would breastfeed and do all those things, try to keep you focused, but my mind went nowhere on nothing but trying to figure out where is my husband.
Where is he?
What has happened? I ain't heard nothing. I done called them. I done called the hospitals. I done called the police department to see it, and nothing. So he comes home and he tells me, he comes home like he always did, with that gap and that smile. But I could look at him and tell he had been a rough weekend, but he said he was kidnapped. And right as he left out with his check, he was kidnapped. So hear me. Oh, just crying. I'm so glad you're all right, baby. But then,
because you wanted to believe it.
I wanted to believe it. But at that time, I had no reason not to believe it. No, not to, because he was functioning. He was going to work every day.
Yeah.
So I had no reason not to believe that. That was the furthest thing from my mind. So after that, it was my coping mechanism was you guys and you all's understanding, because you all going to hear and feel just because he died, you all are going to feel not going to be able to handle it like I can.
Mm-hmm.
And so my worry and concern was now, once it actually comes out, or if you all ask, I have to know
all of who he was, not making how he left here,
right,
who he is.
Who he is.
Yeah. No.
So that helped me on a lot to, as I can't sit around and grieve. I got to. I'm still amongst the living with 2 children. I got to help them to understand and walk them through this and help by all that I can before the world gets to them, and then they hear it, and then they start to
negative. Yeah.
And so then that can turn your whole life around to the negative as well. Oh, your dad commits suicide. Oh, he going to hell.
Yeah.
You just don't know, because the clergies and all of those are always, that was a lot of the preaching and teaching then. Yeah.
So now your best friend is gone. Did you think that it was possible for you to find love again?
No. Yes and no, because I guess again, love being totally different, but I've always been a family person, and I enjoy being around family, and I just love family and you guys. So it's like it kept my cup full of love. So
the family,
but
that
yes,
was enough. That was enough.
That
would have been enough.
That would have been enough.
Okay.
And at the time it was.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then, and it didn't hurt that I wasn't bad looking. So,
let's pause. You want that?
They, like I say, they still come. And especially now they come even more so.
Yeah. Okay, so you were saying it didn't hurt that you were bad looking. So you were not receiving the company was not hard for you.
No, it was not hard.
So it entertained you enough.
It entertained me enough. Yes, just the knowing that whenever you were ready to actually maybe attempt another relationship,
the fish were biting.
The fish, yes, they were biting. Okay. Matter of fact, I had a lawn guy. Okay. I had trash man. I mean, you name them, and they were knocking on the door. They were knocking on the door, ready to perform some of those duties. Those honey do that without.
And it was either I ain't ready or it was us in the background, like.
Yes. Which was more so. Please wait before you come.
Let me make sure I tell you if they are here or not.
Coast is clear, because I'm telling you.
Because we was shooing them away, baby.
Well, look them away. We be walking somewhere. Don't
look at my mama. Exactly. That's part 1, and she's just getting started. Part 2, she tells you about losing her second love and what that diagnosis meant to her. Part 2 drops tomorrow.